Welcome to the 2025 EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. A race that will be etched in NASCAR history not just for its thrilling on-track battles, but for the intense rivalry between two of the sport's most formidable drivers, Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell. This race had everything: strategy, aggression, controversy, and raw emotion. And at the heart of it all, Kyle Busch, a man who wears his passion on his sleeve. Busch, the two-time Cup Series champion, came into this race with something to prove. His recent performances had been solid but not dominant, and he was determined to remind everyone why he's one of the greatest wheelmen in NASCAR history. The weekend kicked off with practice sessions where Shane Van Gisbergen showcased impressive speed, topping the charts with a lap time of 1:38.855 seconds. His performance sent ripples through the paddock, signaling that the race would be anything but predictable. Qualifying saw Tyler Reddick of 23L Racing clinch the pole position with a blistering lap of 1:38.076 seconds, with teammate Bubba Wallace securing the second spot, marking a front-row lockout for the team. Busch, meanwhile, qualified third, right behind Wallace. It was a strong starting position, but for Kyle Busch, anything less than the pole was a disappointment. When asked about it in his post-qualifying interview, Busch smirked and said, "Starting position doesn't mean much when you're the best driver on the track." A classic Busch response. Race day dawned with clear skies and an electric atmosphere. The 95 slap contest promised high-octane action, with strategies and driver skills set to be tested to the limit. For Busch, it was all about execution. He knew he had the speed, and he knew that Bell would be his toughest challenge. What he didn't know was how much controversy would erupt before the day was over. As the green flag waved, Reddick maintained his lead, but it wasn't long before Kyle Busch, driving the No. 8 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing, began his assault, showcasing his road course prowess. Within the first 10 laps, Busch had overtaken Wallace and was hunting down Reddick. By lap 15, Busch had taken the lead. His car was fast, his moves were aggressive, and his determination was undeniable. Busch's aggressive driving style paid dividends as he carved his way to the front, leading a race-high 42 laps. His dominance was evident, and many speculated that he was on course for a commanding victory. He was in the zone, nailing every braking point and pulling away from the field. Meanwhile, Bell was methodically making his way through the pack, inching closer to the showdown that everyone expected. Mid-race, pit strategies came into play. Teams grappled with decisions on tire compounds and fuel loads, aiming to gain that crucial edge. The No. 20 team of Christopher Bell opted for a strategy that would position him strongly for the latter stages, while Busch's team went for a more conservative approach. Busch wasn't thrilled about it. He wanted the aggressive call, but he trusted his crew chief. On lap 78, drama unfolded as Denny Hamlin collided with Austin Dillon, bringing out a caution. This incident erased Busch's 6-second lead, bunching up the field and setting the stage for a nail-biting finish. Busch was furious. He radioed his team, saying, "This is exactly what I didn't want. Just my luck." The frustration was building. He knew Bell was lurking. The restarts saw Busch and Bell side by side, both hungry for victory. Bell, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, seized the moment, executing a flawless pass to take the lead. But Busch wasn't done. He fought back hard, making contact with Bell's car on multiple occasions. It was a battle of wills, and neither driver was willing to back down. In the closing laps, Bell showcased masterful defensive driving, holding off a hard-charging Busch and William Byron to clinch his second consecutive victory of the season. Busch, seething, the frustration was visible as he slammed his steering wheel. Busch was passed by others after he led the day's most laps, 42. Bell, Byron, and Reddick had to contend with his car as it slowly faded out of contention. Bell ultimately came in 0.433 seconds ahead of Byron. After a last-lap robbery in Atlanta the week before, the Joe Gibbs Racing driver became the first to win back-to-back races in the season's opening 3 races since 2018. "Whenever Kyle was leading, I was just trying to be so cautious," Bell said. "Obviously, we know what happened last year. I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to pass him clean. He was just doing such a good job at running his race, and he could get off the corners just good enough that I couldn't get inside of him. But there I started peeking a nose, and he bobbled and allowed me to get out front whenever I did." I'm like, Okay, just don't beat yourself. Those were about the 5 or 6 sloppiest laps I've ever run. This win is monumental for us. After last year's mishap with Kyle here at COTA, I felt I had to redeem myself. Today, we executed our plan flawlessly, and it paid off. I hated to see that yellow come out. We had a strong car today, but that's racing. Hats off to Bell. He made the pass clean and earned this one, but man, NASCAR's got to get their act together with these cautions. Feels like we get hosed every time. We acknowledge the concerns raised by drivers regarding track limits. It's an area we're continually assessing to ensure fair competition. Feedback from our drivers is invaluable in this process. I just wish that maybe we had equal tires to the bus, Christopher Bell, Busch said. I don't know if that was all the difference. I know he was really fast and he had a good race car. I feel like that might have been able to help hold me on a little bit better to him, but even that last yellow flag that we had, I felt like the gap that I had to the field, I was far enough out front that I could run the clean lines, the lines that I wanted, to preserve the tires and take care of them as much as I could to see if he could get there. But once we had that yellow, then it was just defensive mode. You're in complete and utter just beat the heck out of the tires at that point, and I just didn't have it. Kyle Busch, to his credit, gave Bell compliments for managing it well without trying to ask for takeout. In the end, he told Jeff Gluck of The Athletic that the caution flag was the difference. Even while he was kind to Bell, he wasn't so kind to NASCAR, which led to more issues. There are track restrictions this time. Therefore, if you exclude the general misunderstanding about the track restriction at the start of Stage 2, Sunday's EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix at COTA was essentially controversy-free. Not to be outdone, Kyle Busch criticized NASCAR for its ignorance of its own rules after the race. I heard they were going to police turns 4, 5, and 6, and then it turned into 3, 4, 5, and yesterday it was only 4 and 5. They ain't got a clue, Busch said. Busch gave a resounding no when asked if NASCAR should do away with track limits at COTA. No, because then you'll just straight shot turn 3 all the way to turn 6. Don't do that. No, you got to have track limits, Busch said. We need to be a professional racing league that knows how to handle it professionally on a racetrack. You look at Formula One, V8 supercar, and who the hell else that races road course racing, and they all have track limits and they all obey the track. I don't think turn 6 was policed very well today, so we all just started taking advantage of it and running through the dirt. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth look at one of the most exciting races of the season. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with all things NASCAR. Until next time, keep the pedal to the metal.